and welcome to Brandex Reviews. So yesterday I did a video talking about the Bloodsport soundtrack on vinyl. Today I'm going to be talking about the 4K Blu-ray that got a release a couple of years ago in the UK. Now there are other 4K versions and options available, imports and so on, but if you're in the UK this is the one to get. There's actually, I think there were a couple of alternates to this version as well. Not the discs, but what you get with it. There is also a steelbook option. I find it kind of odd looking back on the channel that I haven't really done any reviews of Van Damme films. I've been collecting them for a long time. Now, Bloodsport isn't one that I saw as a kid, but I remember some friends that were older than me owning this on VHS. In fact, I remember this triple box set where you got Cyborg, Bloodsport, and Death Warrant, which were three of the canon movies. It was released by MGM back in the 90s, I think. But I was more into Universal Soldier and so on. But over the years, I seem to remember around about the time Expendables came out, there was like a big resurgence of like fandom for these movies. So I went back and I just went and watched all the Van Damme films, rewatched ones I'd seen as a kid, ones I'd never seen, like Bloodsport. So over the years, I've had a few different versions. The Steelbook version I haven't gone for. I went for this version instead. This one comes in literally a book. It's very interesting. Nothing new. I've seen this be done before. I think I've reviewed Blade Runner, had a similar thing as well a few years ago. So let's have a look at it. Obviously get one of these, I think they're called J cards that comes with it. So I'll just slide this out. I think it's called J because of the way that it obviously is shaped. But the point of this video is to mostly look at the artwork. I'll also go through the extra features and so on as well. I did a short review of the film itself in yesterday's vinyl soundtrack review, so if you want to know my thoughts on the film, you can go there. Although it was very basic, to be fair. So, obviously, a synopsis of the film itself, some of the artwork, the extra features and so on, and the specifications. If you want to pause this, I'll just keep it on here just for a few seconds. Well, I'll keep it on for probably longer than that, to be fair. But if you want to pause it and have a very quick look at the specifics in terms of the technical specifications, the information is right there. I'm not going to go through it in that much detail. But the bonus features are very interesting. So you've got a number of featurettes, an uppercut into the action movie A-list, a knockout interview with JCVD, that's one thing. Blood Rights, scripting a canon classic, that's again one thing. Wham Bam, Thank You Van Damme, a return to the ring with cinematographer David Worth, which is all one thing. A sporting chance, that's one thing. Some of these have hyphens. If you can see a bullet point, that just means that's its own thing. Tunes to Tap Out 2. I think that was something to do with... oh, yeah, so that's why. It's so confusing as this, because you've got like bullet points and you've got, let's say, dashes. Tunes to Tune Out 2. The Fighting Sounds of Paul Herzog. Now, if you saw yesterday's video, I did talk about the soundtrack, obviously. This has an interview with Paul Herzog. It's very interesting. He seems like a really sound guy, very kind of humble guy as well. When he's talking about this, because he's got quite a legacy with this soundtrack. He did a couple of others as well. I think he did Kickboxer as well. And yeah, really, really great. I don't think he did much work after that, but he has come back fairly recently to do The Last Kumite last year. And then there's audio commentary with Sheldon Lettich. He's pretty legendary for action movies and a lot of writing and directing. He co-wrote it with Paolo Tocha and James Bennett. I mean, he did the audio commentary with those. Introduction to the film. I can't remember who does that. I've watched it on a couple of times, but not too recently. And then the US theatrical trailer. So that's that. Now, the actual thing itself, that's what you want to see. So, like I say, it comes in this book form. That's on the back of the thing. And then the spine of it, as you can see here. So let's have a look on the inside. So you get the actual Blu-ray UHD disc on here. There you go. And we'll just have a quick look at stuff that you get inside. So that's it for the actual book, and then you get this Blu-ray disc as well that comes with it. That's just a normal Blu-ray. So there you go, very nice. I got this a couple of years ago. I think up till that point I had it on a Blu-ray that I'd imported. Can't remember where I got it from over the years. It's been difficult to get definitive versions of this, but it's all sorted now because you've got this. If you've got a 4K UHD Blu-ray player, the quality on this one is not disappointing. I thought it was really good. Sometimes with 4Ks, the colours can kind of distort things a little bit, and sometimes AI gets involved. We saw that last year with some of the James Cameron 4Ks that came out, but this one's very nice and I wasn't disappointed by it. Now, in terms of options, like I say, I think there's a couple of alternates to this specific one, but this was the one that I wanted, and at the moment I think on this format you can get them for about £33. I guess in the US that's probably about $40, something like that off the top of my head. So this, of course, is the UK version as well. So very nice, quite expensive for one film, but if it's one of your favourite films, like it is in my case, you don't begrudge paying it. So there's my recommendation for this as a good 4K to own. Thank you very much for watching. Now, we've made a point recently on this channel to focus more on 70s, 80s and 90s action stars. So if this is something that you're interested in, consider subscribing because there's going to be more from these guys here.